Alright, it's probably about a minute later. I don't think I've walked more than 50 meters, and we're now coming into, I guess, the proper part of the park. This is actually all new. If you look down at all this brickwork, and again, you know, I was here in October of 2007. It's now August of 2008. When I was here last, people told me that the level of investment and construction is just amazing. And of course I had nothing to compare it to, so I had to take their word. But I have to tell you, just in the last 8 or 9 months since the last time I've been here, the level of construction is noticeably improved. People would tell me the last time I was here that a building was about to be built. I thought, okay, you know, that's nice. And now it's completely built, completely finished. There's a lot of work that's being done. The roads are being improved. Before I came, electricity had improved tremendously. That's not an issue here. Water is consistent. I mean, it really feels, I've been not throughout, but I've been to a couple of Eastern European countries, and really this region of Russia feels no different than a lot of other Eastern European areas that I've been to. The other thing that's remarkable is that on the streets I speak English when I'm with, you know, friends here who speak English. That is, I want to say that's the Parliament building, but I don't think it is, and I forget what it is. Maybe after the fact I'll show this to some locals and they can help dissect the cartography for me. But at any rate, I was a little apprehensive at first to speak English in public. People do look at me, but it's sort of out of curiosity more than anything else. I do feel safe here. I don't feel worried at all. I think that sometimes the locals here are a little surprised because here's this person who maybe looks a little bit out of place, doesn't speak much Russian, speaks broken Circassian, and I would suspect that for most of the local Circassian people, there is no such thing as broken Circassian. You're either Circassian or you're not, and if you are, you speak it, and if you don't, you have no reason to learn it. Unless you're diaspora like me. Interesting. At any rate, you know, this is, again, one of many, many parks that are in the region, that are in the city of Nalchik. This is a nice, pretty park. There is a monument to Lenin. It's a nice day here. It gets hotter here than I would have imagined. It's presently, I want to say it's about 31 degrees centigrade. That comes out to about 86, maybe 87 degrees Fahrenheit, if I'm doing the math in my head properly. It's a nice sunny day, a little bit of clouds in the sky, not too humid. I was surprised it got that warm here. I don't know why I had any preconceived notion of the weather here, but the weather here is actually typical of continental Europe. I mean, it gets cold, it gets warm, not too cold, not too warm. It doesn't get that humid, which is nice. So we're coming up on the edge of the park. I mean, the park still goes off into the distance quite a ways. The camera's not really showing you how big this park is. What I wanted to show you, though, was an example of construction that's going on here. And so, you know, Nalchik is a relatively small city by Western standards. But in the distance there, you can see a relatively large building being built. It's kind of surprising how large some of the structures here are. And again, you know, there's a Toyota, there's a Gazelle, there's a BMW taxi, a Lada, a Volga, all kinds of cars on the road. Here's something that's interesting. In the U.S., I've only seen this in Boston, but it's an electric-powered bus, which is, I don't know when it was built, but I think he thinks I'm trying to get on. Now I'm just going along the other perimeter of the park. If I go down to the edge here and make a left, I will be back at the bookstore where we started the first video. And, you know, that's me walking around Nalchik. More to come.